We're about to start the third quarter here. Snapple Bowl 19, the second half just about to get underway. 26-7, Middlesex on top. And Mike Pavlichko, George Najar along with you, the Sayreville head coach. You got a nifty piece of hardware there, didn't you, somewhere around here? Don't forget that thing on the way home.
Very nice of them to honor me.
He was honored as Middlesex County Coach of the Year, and Fay will kick off for Union as Middlesex gets the ball to start half number 2. And the return comes right up the middle for the Middlesex All-Stars. They get a pretty good return from inside the 5 up to inside the 30. So no miscues on the first play of the second half, as we did on the opening kickoff, which led to a 4-play drive that Middlesex was able to score on from the 30-yard line. It began. They got a 1-yard touchdown run by Isaiah Johnson to make it 7-0. And that pretty much stood till the second quarter when Union answered on a 26-yard touchdown pass from Hakeem Cornegay to Robert Jackson. But then Middlesex responded with 3 unanswered scores. Only 1 extra point. They missed a second extra point and then missed a 2-point conversion. And that's where we are now, 26-7. Azim Blakey, 45-yard touchdown run, 23-yard touchdown pass from Faustino Saucedo to Cody Zalazar, and another 15-yard pass to Hayden Warren, a little flare out in the right corner of the end zone. And George Najar, as we are underway here in this third quarter, and Middlesex with the ball. Union left off really with a missed opportunity with a minute or 2 left to try and punch one in. And on a fourth down, really came out of a timeout and didn't get off the play they wanted. Middlesex ran it out. They've got to come out here and kind of set the tone on defense and get something going offensively. They've only managed the 1 score so far. Nice pass.
Right on the money. Kyle Anderson again.
Well, what does this Union team need to do to get back in this thing? Because right now it's Middlesex with momentum, playing well and looking good.
Well, they have to start by stopping. They have to get some stops immediately on defense. They cannot let Middlesex go down the field and score now. Not only will it make it an almost insurmountable lead, but it will certainly discourage the Union faithful. I think that Union needs to stop them, get control of the ball, and at least move the ball and show some signs of offensive life.
28-6 was the score last year in this game. A 22-point win by Union. So it's 19 right now, but they're not a lot of one-sided games. 28-14, 24-6, 17-10, going back in order, 13-7. Here's a run, right side. That's Isaiah Johnson, who scored the opening touchdown of the game. So they are often close games. Sometimes they come down to the final minutes, like in Snapple Bowl 8 here at East Brunswick, where Union County won 17-16. Brandon Bracey of Linden scooping up a botched field goal attempt and ran 70 yards for a touchdown with 10 seconds to go. I was here, called that game here on your local cable station, wherever you are, and remember that, some wacky ball games in some of those early years.
See Middlesex back out in the spread offense again.
And now they call a timeout.
Might have had the wrong personnel or been in the wrong formation.
Took off a little more than 2 minutes already in this third quarter. 26-7 is the score. Middlesex on top. So first timeout by either side here in half number 2. Don't forget they are playing 15-minute quarters here in the Snapple Bowl to accommodate and get some of the many players, about 40 or so per side, into the game. Get them a lot of opportunities. If you're going to suit up and you're going to practice since July 9th for a game on July 19th, well, then you want to make it worth your while and get in the game.
Absolutely, and that's a great advantage for these kids to get the extra few minutes each period, and it also gives the team that's trailing, in this case Union, a chance to get back in the game with the extra time.
Second down and 12 in the shotgun. Bit of a high snap for Kyle Anderson from Woodbridge. Pass almost picked off as well. And that's good defense by Eric Gargiulo out of Cranford. who, as it says here, because I wrote it down that way, also a wide receiver, and he kind of looked like one on that play, didn't he?
Yes, he did. In fact, the Gargiulo is the same kid that stopped Blakey for that loss the previous play, so he's made 2 consecutive good plays for that defensive Union.
Was looking for a pick right there, of which he had 8 in the regular season, along with 28 tackles. And he's also a kick and punt returner, gaining 700 yards that way for Cranford, a state championship team this year.
This is a big play for the Union defense. They need to get a stop here. It's 3rd and long.
3rd and 12 to be exact. Here's the snap and the pass complete, and yards after the catch, but not nearly enough for the first down. Just 4 yards beyond the marker for Anthony Jones out of Perth Amboy. Jones with his 4th catch of the game now for 43 yards. In the first half, and this is interesting because of the score being so lopsided, Middlesex 185 yards of offense and Union 102. So closer than the score would indicate. It's just that Middlesex had some short touchdown drives. The punt away by Saucedo takes a bounce, fielded at the 15, and a couple of yards return on the play for the Union side, and that was for Union.
The turnovers in that first half and field position off those turnovers were probably the significant difference for Middlesex.
And they really helped swing the momentum Middlesex's way as well. James O'Rourke on that short return will set Union up at their own 25-yard line. 1st and 10, 11:49 to go in this 3rd quarter. Snapple Bowl 19.
As a football team, it's very important to get turnovers. More importantly, it's what you do with the turnovers that makes the difference.
But you see so many more of them. Again, not that the game is sloppy, but these kids just aren't used to playing on a team with each other. I mean, you know this from being a traditional high school football team. You're together year-round.
It's a very good point, Mike.
1st and 10 Union. It's Cornegay in at quarterback, and he spins and takes it up to the 29-yard line, a gain of about 3 or 4. So, I mean, there is a bonding that goes there. You know, people talk about offensive lines having to really fit and mesh together and gel well, but, you know, you need that center quarterback exchange. You need guys to know where they're going, who's blocking for whom on offense. And there are just too many things that can go wrong when you really only have 10 days that you've been together. 2
very good points. The quarterback-center exchange, you saw it multiple times in today's game, affect the outcome of plays. And the other thing is offensive line schemes and blocking schemes are not easy to cohere in a short amount of time.
I mean, you know how many things go wrong for you in a state championship season, and you're together all year, right? I mean, there's enough there that you say, hey, here's Cornegay. Throws right sides complete, couple of yards shy of the stick.
They're finally working the ball underneath. They were trying long passes in the first half with not much success, a couple of interceptions and a lot of incompletions. Now they're trying to take shorter passes, and hopefully they can get the run after the catch, which certainly makes a lot more sense in this situation.
Well, he certainly had enough time at halftime to talk about things. It was a long halftime. Not that you watching would know, unless you were here. Nonetheless, 3rd and short. It's a long 2, we'll call it.
And it's a big long 2 because they need to get a first down to keep the sticks moving and give themselves some positive energy.
Got to get across the 35. 10-12 to go, 3rd quarter. It goes up the middle. They got it. And the pile pushes forward across the 40-yard line. And a nice run that time for the Union County All-Stars by Andrew Romeo, the 6', 210 kid out of Governor Livingston. All seniors playing in this game, some playing in their last game ever. Some will be moving on to play in college. Some will be playing other sports in college. And some won't be playing at all.
That play that gave them the first down is something they had success with in the first half, and you might see them come back to it a little more often in the second half.
Here's another handoff and another couple of yards. They got about half what they needed.
I think they found something in the fact that the defense from Middlesex is really looking for jet sweep action, so they're spreading the defense out, which gives them some seams up inside between the tackles.
Well, and now, as you talked about in the first half, that play doesn't work if nothing else is working for you. But now that they've got something else going, now you can use that jet sweep to more success, which they weren't doing in the first half.
Absolutely. It's all about complementary plays.
2nd and long 5. Near midfield. Looking to pass. Long throw, right sideline, and it's incomplete.
Out of bounds. I think he was out of bounds.
Yeah,
also.
I think so too, yeah.
The quarterback had an opportunity to run there, and then once he got outside the flank with his speed and athleticism, I'm surprised he didn't take off.
3rd and long now. Long 5. Ball in their own 47 for Union. You mentioned the Middlesex coaches earlier. The Union coaching staff with 8 from Cranford: Eric Rosenmeyer, Joe Hubert, Mark Armento, Pete Kane, Kerry Drexler, Chris Loeffler, John Vici, and Ryan Huber. Here's Cornegay rolling left. Now he's going to keep it and trying to run it out of bounds, and he gets up to about the 49. Gain of just a couple, but he's 4 yards short of a first down.
I'm curious to see if they punt the ball away or they go for it, knowing that they're trailing by 19 points. And
he hasn't moved anybody on the field. Now,
well, again, the interesting thing is, you know, the 15-minute quarter. So you've got an extra, you know, with 8:53 to go in the third, you got an extra 3 minutes here than you normally would have to work with. So that's got to affect something of when you enter 4th down territory, I would imagine. The other coaches in this game for Union: Jim DeSarno of Westfield, Scott Miller, Brearley, Alciola Linden, and John Zapula from Hillside.
they're going for it, Mike.
They are. 4th and 5. That's the way they look now. Cornegay throws, right side's got his man, caught it.
That's a hell of a catch right there. On a 4th down play, the ball was overthrown a little bit. He went up and got it.
At the 42-yard line in Middlesex territory, that's Stefan Scullall with the catch. 6'1", 210 out of Union, and boy, did he get up there. Straight up in the air. The hit was right there from the Middlesex defense, but you got to kind of let him make the catch coming from behind like that. If you get in front too much, it might be pass interference. So first down, Union.
Let's see if that sparks them.
Inside the Middlesex 45. Handoff. Left tackle, not much.
But again, they got away from the jet sweep, and now they're going north and south, and they seem to have a little more success with this.
That's Romeo again from Governor Livingston with the run. And a gain of 3. And, you know, I always liken it to what my dad always told me about golf, at which I'm not very good. But he said, just keep the ball moving forward. And that's really all you got to do.
They've got away from the spread offense, and they come to a more conventional type shotgun.
Yep, here's a 2nd down play, and another handoff to Romeo's got close to a first down. So there you have it. Union now just getting little chunks. They open it up for bigger chunks.
It's a good game plan, good adjustments by the Union staff at halftime to give themselves in more position to move the ball, move the sticks, and maybe take control of the offensive line. There's still plenty of time, as you mentioned, and there's still a quarter and a half to play. Three scores is not out of the woods.
And that offensive line playing very well for Union County as well. James Armstrong at center, Jaleel Johnson in there at the guard spot, and Tyler Schultz, and at tackles Michael Christian and Baldwin Nieves. And they've gotten some subs in there as well. Andrew Perry out of Summit, John Ferrantino from Johnson, Matt Lina out of Dayton Regional, Bernadelle Mabois from Linden, and Lamont Sparrow from Plainfield. Here in this third quarter, it's been all them.
I think in the first half, when they're trying to run the jet sweep with those linemen, I don't think they were quick enough to get out in front, and I don't think they were able to have much success on the flank. But it seems that they're having more success going north and south in a short area, and they're having success pounding that ball between the tackles.
The measurement right now more to tell how much they've got to go for a first down rather than whether they actually got a first down on that last play. I think it was clear to the officials they didn't. They just wanted to see how much they needed to get.
The guy goes in motion.
George, 5 minutes off the clock on this possession already. They got the ball, Union did, with 12 minutes and change, so they've taken some time. They've kept it on the ground.
Yeah, and there's still plenty of time, and they're doing a smart thing, and they use that measurement for actually an unofficial timeout,
yeah,
if you would.
Oh, now a little bit of a high snap, but Cornegay corrals it and rolls out to his right and is knocked out of bounds near the sideline and near the stick.
He might have gotten it with that last leap.
He might have.
That's an impressive individual effort.
And it looks like he did. They're flipping the dial it down. Past 4 to 1. And so it'll be 1st and 10 at the Middlesex 31-yard line. We'll see how long it takes them to score. Now, this Middlesex defense has been on the field for a long time. This is as long as they've been out for any one stretch.
They've changed their whole offensive formation for this series.
All night. Here we go. Cornegay rolling out left. He's got some room and then is quickly closed in upon. Coming in there on the stop to push him out of bounds. Dean Vitale out of Spotswood. 5'10", 175, 3-year starter. Andy Camerano, the head coach, calls him the best player he's got on the team, hands down, for my alma mater. Just throwing that in. 2nd and 7. One of the top 5 passers in the GMC this season, yardage-wise, and on defense, 130 tackles and 4 forced fumbles. There he helps push Cornegay out of bounds. 2nd down and 7 inside the 30. One man in motion. Comes near side. That's O'Rourke. Looking to pass Cornegay. Bullet right in the middle. Tipped up. Incomplete. Then intercepted. Picked off by the Middlesex defense. And coming up with the pick looked like John Albecker. Nope, Chad Cummings. 9'6", they look alike. 6'1", 220, Chad Cummings out of New Brunswick. So a Zebra comes up with a pick that was deflected a couple of times. It was tipped first by a Middlesex player, then off the intended receiver for Union County, and then picked up by Middlesex. So, George, 6 minutes off the clock, and Union County moved the football well, but a turnover on a toss-up play. And now Middlesex has it back and maybe some more momentum now.
He was open, and the quarterback hit him in the hands. He just wasn't able to hold on to it and deflected it up in the air, and the defense got control.
And now rolling out to the right on a toss, long downfield, incomplete. And that was Cody Zalazar on an option. And it goes incomplete. Wow, looking all the way down the field for Rashad Adams at a Perth Amboy.
He was open, he just overthrew him, and it's a tough pass on the run, especially for Cody Zalazar, who doesn't get many opportunities to throw the ball, but he threw a nice ball just a little bit out of the reach.
Safe to say he's the go-to player for something out of the ordinary?
Well, he makes a lot of special plays, and that's certainly one of them.
They had a real opportunity. Adams was wide open down the field, but that's a long throw for a non-quarterback to make. 2nd and 10.
And neither is our outside back.
6:12 to play 3rd quarter. Near side, and Salazar again leaps a defender at the 40. Wow.
The time they came back with the jet sweep and had a lot of success with it.
One more thing. Okay, the outside back.
Tackle on the play by Anthony De Silva at Cranford.
They had good blocking at the 2nd level and at the 3rd level by those guards and those halfbacks. They got on the defensive backs, they stuck on them, and it created space for Salazar to move.
We've played 9 minutes so far in this 3rd quarter of Snapple Bowl 19. Mike Pavlichko and Sayreville head coach George Najar joining me as the analyst tonight. Glad that you joined us. And Middlesex with a 26-7 lead.
That's it. Just let him nickel and dime.
Snap, handoff, fumble, loose, and picked up by Union. And on the recovery, it was Desmond Haynes out of Elizabeth, 6'3", 230.
Can't let him back in the game now.
And now it'll go back to Union about where they had it when they turned it over.
That's exactly right. They lost a couple of minutes off the clock, but they still have good opportunity here to still make this a game.
Actually got it a few yards further downfield, so there you have it. Middlesex got it first to start this 3rd quarter. forced a punt.
He might come out with a spread here again.
Union got it. Long drive, 6 minutes. Turnover, interception. Middlesex fumbles it away. Union's got it back. Nobody scored yet in the second half. We're at 5:31 to go in the third quarter. Alan Jordan now in at quarterback as they alternate series. Alan Jordan rolling out to his right with no options, and he'll have the first down, run out of bounds just past the sticks.
There's no defense for that. You had great coverage in the secondary. You had containment. He just outran the outside backer and sprinted to the sideline.
The kid can create. That's really keep bringing it up, but that's really a basketball move right there. When you see you got no options, you take the ball to the hoop yourself, and you make something happen, and you finish off the play, and finishing off a drive, the equivalent, I guess, of getting a first down. So
stop the clock.
Yes.
And creates more opportunities for them.
That a key, too, because they keep the ball on the ground, and they keep moving the football. Alan Jordan now rolling out left time this time. He's got a lot more room to the near sideline. Run out of bounds at the 17. And he picks up only 5 yards on that play. A lot of east-west running there. And look, I forget where I heard it first, but I always do love this statement about passing the football. And it really was borne out by what happened to Union on the last drive. There's 3 things that can happen when you throw the football, and 2 of them are bad.
Well, that's not a bad thing when that kid can run and get yardage like that, I'll tell you. Any coach will take that anytime.
No, not at all. It's a second down and about 7, and tripping on the turf.
The timing on that jet sweep wasn't very good, and the quarterback and the halfback met at the wrong time, and they tripped over the quarterback's foot, and they lost about, I guess, around 4 yards.
That's Chris Whitwick out of Cranford, 5'9", 165 on that play.
Yeah. But we don't have to make a play up the field. We got to make the play, the right play.
The 2 big plays coming up here, Mike, for the Union team.
There's a lot of time left in this game.
3rd and long. 4:30 to play in the third quarter. 26-7 Middlesex on top of Union. Looking to win 6 out of the last 7 is Middlesex. Alan Jordan's pass incomplete. That was out in the backfield.
Leave your defense in. If he punts it, punts it. Put Herring in at no.
And that was looking for Stefan Skullall out of Union, 6'1", 210. So now it's a 4th and 11 or more, depending on where they spotted the football here. I think it should be more than that, right? No, I guess not.
It was incomplete. So
oh, that's right.
Back to the
Yes,
line of
yes,
scrimmage.
yes.
Jay, what did you got?
Losing focus there for just a moment.
Tell the outside backers to stay
Sometimes when you think too hard about the obvious, it comes back at you, doesn't it?
Tell the DN.
Well, it's an obvious passing situation. Playing very soft to the secondary by the Middlesex defense.
2 receivers either side.
Be a flag. Looked like a movement.
Yep.
Who's 54?
And let's see who this is going to be. It's going to be on the offense, and it'll be a 4th and 16. Now, you don't often see field goals in these games either, because that's too much sometimes. Getting special teams down, I mean, you're talking about offensive lines, you're getting center quarterback exchanges all set. Special teams just that much more difficult. And not a lot of teams will go for long field goals in high school football unless it's, do or die time. And he needs something. Here's Alan Jordan, the shotgun, 4th and 16 now. The 28, long pass, right side's got his man wide open at the 6. And did he get it? Hold it in.
What execution that was. There had to be a breakdown in the Middlesex secondary because they knew they were in a passing situation, 4th and long. And they threw the ball on the money, and the kid made a nice catch.
Stefan Skullall out of Union with a grab for a first down with 4:07 to play, third quarter.
That's 2 big catches by Skullall. The first one on the 4th down play, and this one on the 4th down play.
Now, forget all the time you've taken off the clock if you score, if you don't score here, just not coming away with any points would be deflating at this point. Union's got to punch this in. Here's a handoff on a 3-back formation, and it looks like a ball popped loose, and Middlesex says they got it, and look who it is. Craig Switzer.
He's having a nice game for himself. That's his third recovery of the day. He had 2 on the kickoffs, and now he's got 1 on a big first down play inside the 10.
The Sayreville Bomber has come up big. And if you want to talk MVP honors, this game a long way from being decided yet, but those 2 recoveries and that third one now could be key, with Union knocking on the door, the first one leading to the first score. You also have Faustino Saucedo, who through the last 2 of the 3 unanswered touchdown scored by Middlesex, which is back on offense now. And another running play, and just a rugby scrum trying to chase after that ball.
Middlesex is happy to run the ball, run some clock, and even if they have to punt it away, they're just happy they didn't have to give up any points.
For the Middlesex offense, now they want to take a long time and move this ball downfield. They wouldn't mind a 6-7 minute scoring drive.
Oh, absolutely. Even a couple of first downs, even if they don't score. Get a couple of first downs, take the ball into the 4th quarter.
Here's a run play near side. Errol Lindo, Adam Metuchen getting some time in now, and his second touch of the game. Had 19 touchdowns for the Bulldogs this past season. Clock will roll, under 2:50 to play as he takes it up inside a 15-yard line.
It looks like they're going to the short yardage offense, which means they're either going to go double tight bone or they're going to go pro and just pound the ball in behind that I formation.
3rd and a couple.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see Blakey carry the ball here for that short yardage.
A couple of yards shy of the 20-yard line. That's about where they need to get for this first down.
They're in the unbalanced bone with Blakey as one of the halfbacks.
Snap taken by Anderson. The handoff, and the 15-yard line. Loss of a few yards on that play. Maybe the 16. They'll be kind and give him that to bring up a 4th and 4. So no long drive, no first down even for the Middlesex side. And now they'll come on and have Cody Zalazar punt it away, or no, Faustino Saucedo come on and punt it away.
I think Union has to go for the block here. They need a big turnover. They need points. They need a momentum shift.
Saucedo's back near the goal line. Return man for Union will be James O'Rourke at a Westfield. He stands at midfield. Low snap. High kick. Going to be a little short, though. Well, it takes a good Middlesex bounce. Will cross the 50. And it will be down at the 43 1/3 yard line in the Union end. So they'll have another long way to go for a touchdown here to try and get back into this game, where now really the clock is not their friend, with just 16 minutes and 14 seconds left in this ball game as we are in the final minute and a half of the 3rd quarter.
They need to score, and they need to score in a hurry, just to get the momentum going their way, just to give them some confidence and let them believe that they can turn this thing around. Because right now they're being outplayed, but they are having some success on the ground.
And the tricky part, and now back in at quarterback is Hakeem Cornegay. The tricky part here, George, is that they had that short run game working, but now they really can't afford to use it. Now they've got to go to the air, as they do on first down, and it is picked off. Did he not get it? He must not have had control as he went down to the ground. Coming up with the near pick for the Middlesex County defense, Roger Kilgore, 6'2", 180 out of Bishop R, and a good basketball player as well.
Again, they're going for the deep ball, trying to hit the home run early, but the Middlesex secondary has been up to the task.
2nd and 10, Union at their own 43. Clock stopped with 65 ticks left in the third quarter.
Listen to me. Tell him.
Cornegay, keep it himself. Gets a couple blocks, now a pitch right side, but taking a loss of a couple yards in the play is Robbie Fay at a New Providence. Hakeem Cornegay would have been better served to keep that ball himself. He was further along and he pitched it back with no room to run. Robbie Fay.
The Middlesex defense has done a great job against the option. They should really scratch that from the playbook and go back to what we had success with earlier in the second half. Pound the ball up front, throw the ball, get on the flank with the quarterback, and create things on the outside. Right now, the jet and the outside game has not been successful for the Union team.
It's hard to look at it when you have momentum swings during a game, but as we get further and further along in this game, George, and a big third down coming up here for Union, you're starting to get a real feel that Middlesex has been dominant in this game, and when Union is threatened, as they come up short of a first down on third down here, whenever Union is threatened, Middlesex has really come up with either a big turnover that they've come up with, an interception, or a big defensive stop or whatever. They've had an answer every time Union has done something as we run out to the end of this third quarter, have they not?
You're absolutely right. Union has rose to the occasion each time on defense, and on offense, they've done enough in the first half to create this big deficit for Union.
It'll be fourth down when we come back to start the fourth and final quarter of Snapple Bowl 19, 26-7, Middlesex on top of Union. Mike Pavlichko and George Najar at J. Doyle Field in East Brunswick. 26-7 is the score. Middlesex, a dominating performance so far on top. Fourth down and Union going for it on 4th and 7, but I think they were going to try and draw Middlesex off sides to get a shorter play, but instead they were going to have to take a timeout here and burn that.
Well, it's a good timeout because they need the first down. If they don't get the first down now, Middlesex can eat up a couple more minutes of the clock and make it all that more difficult for Union to come back.
Well, I think they were hoping for the offsides, either to give them a shorter fourth down play to get the first down, or to try and pin Middlesex back a little further if they did decide to punt. But they don't get either.
I don't think punting is an option at this point,
no.
Mike. You know, they have decent field position. Even if they were to give the ball up, they have to take some chances here. They're down by 19 points, and they only have 15 minutes to play.
There have been a lot of wild endings to this game, but Union's going to have to come up with a couple more scores here to give us a chance to see any one of those again tonight. So no time came off the clock. As the play clock was winding down, Union called a timeout, but here we go. Teams out of the huddle. Union a 4th down and 7 from their own 46-yard line. And Cornegay in the shotgun.
Got time.
Yep. Throws complete. First down to the 41. Breaks a tackle at the 45. Robert Jackson down to the 15, 10-yard line. Still on his feet. Dives. Hits the pylon. And he scores. Yes. Robert Jackson, 54-yard touchdown pass, catch and run.
What a great individual effort by Jackson. He caught the ball around the 40-yard line, spun, made a tackle, missed, broke to the sideline, looked like he was going to get knocked out of bounds, and lowered his shoulder, took the man with him, and plowed into the end zone.
A lot of yards after that catch, about, 30 or so?
At least 30, maybe closer to 40, Mike, and it looks like they're back in the game here because there's still plenty of time. And
that's because of the 15-minute quarters. We had no scoring in that third quarter, and 15 seconds.
It looks like they're going for 2.
Into this one, yeah, they go for 2. They are down by 11.
Which allows them to get 8.
Another and 2,
yes.
They can get 8 and a field goal.
Yeah.
So. But let's see what happens here. Middlesex had a bad snap on their 2-point conversion attempt earlier in the game.
They seemed a little confused. They might have to use another timeout.
And that's not good to use their second timeout of the half here on a 2-point conversion attempt. But, you know, special teams are hard enough to coordinate in a full regular season and playoffs and all that. Try doing it in 2 weeks and getting the 2-point conversion unit, which doesn't get out very often to begin with.
And it was Cornegay, the quarterback, who thought they were probably kicking and then went over to get a drink of water or walked away from the sideline. And that's the guy they needed back in the game. So they had to call timeout to get him back in.
So I thought I had a break, Coach. So 26-13, we said they needed a score. Big catch and run by Robert Jackson on a pass from Hakeem Cornegay. It goes down as a 54-yard touchdown pass, but more than half of that was a run.
Yes, and that's the third completion on fourth down that they've had in this second half. And each of them were crucial to them moving the ball. This one for a touchdown, the other two for big first downs. Even though they didn't score on the other two, it certainly put them in position, in better field position to score.
All right, we look like we're ready to go here. Referee checking something.
You might see them go north and south again because they had success running between the tackles out of this formation earlier in the game.
Cornegay in at quarterback.
82's going on a power pass. 82's coming inside. You're going to come back.
Man in motion.
Here he goes, 82.
Looking to throw. Got a man for the corner of the end zone, but he keeps it, leaps a defender. Cornegay gets in for the 2. Wow, did he jump over a defender? Darryl Harper out of South Brunswick. Gone down to try and stop him from getting in the end zone, and Harper went up and over. 26-15. Union trails.
Talk about big plays in the game. Early in the game, we had Middlesex miss an extra point, and then they went for 2, and they were inside. They were on the 1.5-yard line, and they had a missed snap, and they couldn't get that 2-point conversion. So now that allowed Union to stay within striking range, and there's still plenty of time for them to do that.
So now Middlesex will get a chance here to answer. The only other time Union has scored in this game, Middlesex answered with 3 touchdowns in the quarter. And that score was also very early in a quarter, very early in the second quarter. Union had that momentum. We had the break. You said it probably won't kill their momentum too much. It didn't. They scored, but Middlesex scored the next 3. A 45-yard run by Azim Blakey and 2 touchdown passes by Faustino Saucedo. 23 yards to Cody Zalazar, 15 to Hayden Warren. Jackson's second touchdown catch of the game, the only player to score more than twice in this ball game.
Kickoff coverage is going to be important here, and field position as well.
The kick.
Get the ball.
Low kick bounces on the ground and fielded by Middlesex at the 25-yard line. And on the return for Middlesex, Sean Hall out of Piscataway, 6'1", 205-pound tight end, one of the upbacks, returning it up to about the 26-yard line. That's where Middlesex County is going to start out.
Union tried to use the same kickoff that Middlesex used to start the game, pooching the ball into the corner, hoping they could run it down and get it, not being an official onside kick, but a kick where they would have an opportunity to get the ball if Middlesex didn't get on it right away.
Faustino Saucedo, 19 touchdown passes on the year, 2 in this game, 6 rushing touchdowns as well.
Middlesex back in the pro offense. They got a flanker, a split end, and I formation.
Here's Saucedo looking to pass, plenty of time, long bomb right side, and just beyond the outstretched arms of Cody Zalazar. Always around the ball, that kid. Always
around the ball, and he's always a good option. He has speed, he's got good hands, and he makes people miss in the open field. Very difficult to defend.
He's been the favorite target tonight for either quarterback, Saucedo or Anderson. And that'll be a 2nd down and 10.
This is a crucial series for Union. If they want to really get back in this game, they can't let Middlesex control the ball, the clock, or the line of scrimmage.
And if Middlesex is going to throw the ball and throw any incomplete passes, it's going to stop the clock and leave Union with some more time to get back in this. Don't forget the 15-minute quarter. So we're still in what you could call 2:29 of extra time until we get to what would really be the start of the 4th quarter, and we have 12 minutes left. 2nd and 10. And Saucedo back.
With the passing game.
Incomplete, and almost a hand on it. Anthony Stevens, 5'9", 170-pound corner out of Roselle.
That ball almost fell into the lap of the Middlesex player after that deflection.
It did, yeah. There were a couple of guys who had a chance at it. Stevens with first crack couldn't get it. So now 3rd and 10. Are you surprised they didn't try and run the ball a little more here on these first 2 plays?
Yes, I am a bit surprised. And especially at this point in the game where they were having success with the line of scrimmage, at the line of scrimmage with their running game. And to throw the ball up, not only that, they're allowing the clock to stay stopped, and that is an advantage for Union.
3rd and 10. Saucedo to throw. Flag in the backfield. He'll run it near side. He's got the first down and more across the 50.
That could be a hold in the backfield there.
It could be.
And it is. And that's going to go from the point.
The point of that foul, which the referee picked up the flag and moved it upfield about 1.5 yards. Which you probably didn't see because it was behind the play and off camera. But so that's going to bring it back.
Sorry, guys.
And it'll be a 4th down.
They'll get that down back.
Or they'll
Mike.
get it back, yeah. It'll be a 3rd but long.
Yes. That penalty takes place from the spot of the infraction. That holding took place in the backfield, so they've lost extra yards on this play. It's the 3rd and about 25.
Won't be a run now, that's for sure.
Well, they'll run a conservative play here. They don't want to put the ball up for grabs. They'll run a screen, a draw, or something where they probably won't take any risk.
I think their goal now is just try and get a little better field position to punt the football away and give it back to Union. Pass, screen out to the left side, complete. Rashad Adams, that's good. He got up to about the 30-yard line, so he picked up about 12 yards on the play, and that's a much better result than having to kick it back from where they were. It was 3rd and 27 to be exact, and now it'll only be a 3rd and 15. So 12 yards, a lot of difference. You can pin Union back maybe on their side of the field. Had he had to kick it from 12 yards further back, they might have gotten it in Middlesex territory in a shorter field.
Nonetheless, Union will get good field position once again.
They should. Twice tonight they've mishandled kicks. Both kickoffs, though, not punts. And here is a good, nice boot away. Fielded by O'Rourke at the 33, gets tripped up and stays on his feet, though. Did not go down. Looked like he also went down to a knee at the 45, but got up to the 50.
It's a great individual effort by O'Rourke. He almost fell down twice, kept his balance, reversed the field, and made a move up the field to pick up an about 15 yards.
And so now it's going to be Union, who looked like they were going to wind up taking over at their own 35-yard line, starting in Middlesex territory, right across the 50 at the 49 in the Middlesex neighborhood.
It's a game now, Mike.
It is. It is. And, you know, by high school measures, there's still more than a quarter of football to go. 13:07.
Another great advantage of having this game at 15-minute quarters.
So here we have Union going with Alan Jordan again at quarterback. Long throw, incomplete down the far sideline. And the intended receiver on that play, Javon Oliver, and the Union. Brian Brown there to break it up for the Middlesex defense.
Well, very well covered by Brian Brown. He was there with him step by step. Left no window for them to get the ball in. That was Union trying to strike twice after the change of possession. Didn't happen, but they still have good field position and plenty of time.
Still 13 minutes to go in this ball game. 26-15. It is a difference of 11 points now. Alan Jordan, some time, now under pressure, and he's going to be sacked, taken down at the 31-yard line and taken down hard on the play. And there's a flag, too. Kevin Van Dyke at a Carteret, who led the Ramblers this season with 5.5 sacks.
That flag might be a grounding call.
It is, indeed, and that was the only thing I thought it could be, because it was a hard hit, but a nice, clean, legal hit, I thought, by Van Dyke.
He got in there right away. He was unblocked, put the pressure immediately on the quarterback, couldn't let him escape, and forced him into a grounding penalty and a long, long loss of down.
The only thing that made me unsure of whether it was going to be intentional grounding was that the flag came kind of late. And I thought maybe something might have been done, or
I think the referee was
said.
looking to see if there was an eligible receiver in the area.
Okay, there you go. And so
They're in deep trouble right now.
Yes.
Because you lose it down on a grounding call. So I was third and about, I want to say 30.
See what they've got to do here. They've got to get to the 39 of Middlesex. So 11, 21. Yeah, about 28 or so.
Is there a runoff on that?
I just count 5 yards. Not that good at math.
I got 2 refs up here.
No runoff.
3rd down and 29 is what the scoreboard says, so we'll go with that. Oh,
Now they have to punt, Mike. They can't take a chance of going for it now. They got to punt the ball and hope they can play defense again.
no. There's 4 down territory, and then there's no way.
Switch by Talon.
So,
Not a good series for the Union team. They had decent field position at midfield. They threw the ball twice, once incomplete, and once they lost 20 yards on. I thought they'd go back to running the ball where they had success earlier in the half, but they chose to go about it differently.
and you know, you can talk about miscues all you want, but there's a time when you've got to give credit to the defense, which Middlesex has come up big with in this game. And really, the pressure there by Van Dyke forced the intentional grounding. So you had him not only picking up the sack as the ball is punted away, good high kick, but you also had him force the quarterback. So Van Dyke really cost him 18 yards on that play, on the sack and on the intentional grounding.
Yes, immediate pressure by Van Dyke got Allen Jordan off his rhythm, and he ran backwards, something you tell quarterbacks never to do.
No, you don't want to run the opposite direction. 1st and 10 Middlesex will have it at their own 32 on that kick.
Looks like Middlesex are going to try to reestablish the ground game as Union tries to stifle them and got to get possession of the ball back. Because the last possession, Middlesex took the ball and threw it on 3 occasions unsuccessfully.
That would be the wise move. 1st and 10 from their own 32-yard line.
Back in the iPro.
And back with Kyle Anderson calling the signals. Oh, and a quick hit behind the line of scrimmage on Isaiah Johnson, Anderson's teammate out of Woodbridge. Johnson with the first touchdown of the game. Cody Zalazar with the extra point. And Kyle Anderson handing off to Johnson that first touchdown, all Barons. And after that, Faustino Saucedo getting involved, and Azim Blakey of South Brunswick and Hayden Warren from here in East Brunswick scoring what could turn out to be the deciding touchdown in this game. Certainly giving Middlesex enough cushion, a nice 3-touchdown lead nearly after a missed extra point and a failed 2-point conversion. Here's Anderson on 2nd and 13, that loss of 3. Looking to pass, it's batted down at the line of scrimmage. It's ruled an incomplete pass, as coming up with it on defense for Union County was Mike LaFace out of Westfield, 5'11", 200, with 3 sacks this season, 12 tackles for loss, and 50 tackles on his own.
It's 3rd and 13 right now. It's a tough downs for the Middlesex team.
Got lucky that was ruled an incomplete pass, too. Because if that goes the other way, we're in for one of those wacky endings now.
I wasn't sure if that ball hit the ground or not, but it was certainly thrown forward.
It was certainly thrown forward, yeah. There was no doubt about that. The arm was coming forward and all of that. But he's lucky he got that play off in time. Under 11 minutes to go, and in the shotgun, and the pass thrown right by Kyle Anderson, complete, but for a loss of another yard on the play. That was Mubin Karishi, his first catch of the game. 8 receptions during the year for Piscataway, but he had some key ones at times. And 181 yards, 2 touchdowns, a long reception of 77 this season.
It looks like we're back exactly where we were 2 possessions ago, because they're kicking the ball from the same spot, and Union's looking to get the ball and return in the same spot.
At just about the same point, yeah. The only difference is another minute or so off the clock. The kick away by Saucedo is going to go out of bounds, but not by much. It's going to land on the white in the players' sideline area there, around the 40-yard line, make it the 35.
It's a very effective punt because he kicked it away from the return man and no return at all, and they were able to get out of a hole.
And he didn't sail that ball out of bounds. There's no wind either tonight. He didn't sail that ball out of bounds and it, landed 10 feet out of bounds and have to figure out where it was, bring the ball back. He nailed it perfectly. He got it just enough out of bounds with the distance that he got on it to not lose any yardage on the kick. 10:07 to go, fourth quarter. 26-15, Middlesex trying to get back on the winning side of things. They had won 5 in a row in Snapple Bowls and then lost last year to Union. Pass up the middle by Cornegay, incomplete.
Flag on the play, Mike.
Yeah, that might be pass interference on the Middlesex defender on the play, who was Roger Kilgore to Bishop Bar. See what it's going to be.
Union went back to that seam route with the back out of the backfield, the slot receiver past the strong safety, threw it up in the air, was pretty well covered, but there was interference.
10 minutes up on the clock left. So we're now in officially the fourth quarter of a high school game. We've already played, we played an extra quarter.
Yes.
Playing 5 quarters times worth of high school football. First and 10 Union from the 45.
There's enough time for Union to still run the football. They don't have to be in a hurry.
And they will run it. And it'll be Cornegay on a keep. Up the middle, near side, 40, and run out of bounds inside the 35-yard line.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that.
So Akeem Cornegay out of Rahway finds some daylight and gets a big first down. It's about a 20-yard gain for Cornegay. And it'll be first and 10 now at the 35-yard line of Middlesex. And that's kind of running play that they needed, because they were getting a lot of short runs. It was successful, but they were eating a lot of time off the clock. There's a big play where you don't take a lot of risk by putting the ball into the air. And now first down. Union not knocking on the door, but threatening. Cornegay throws incomplete. And it looked like Chris Whitwick, the wide receiver on that play out of Cranford, was just a little unsure of where that pass was going to go. He was cutting left, the ball went to his right, and he couldn't get back in time.
Yeah, I think Cornegay's feet weren't set properly, and because Westwick was open, he just couldn't get the ball to him on the outside.
Tell Cummings to go, Jay.
Whitwick on that North 2 Group 3 championship team for Cranford. 10-1 this season, beat Parsippany Hills in the final 27-0 for their first title. 3 Union County teams made finals this year in North 2. Elizabeth in Group 4, they lost to Piscataway, and Summit in Group 2. 2 GMC teams made finals and both won them. Piscataway and George Najar Sayreville Ball Club. Both at Rutgers Stadium. Pass incomplete.
They try to flare route to the man in motion outside to try to get a one-on-one with the linebacker, but the quarterback misfired.
9:43 to go. Clock stops, but it's a 3rd and 10.
They continue to want to throw the football. I think there were still opportunities for them to run the football, and there's still plenty of time to do it.
Well, you saw it with Cornegay picking up a first down on a gain of 20. But since then, 2 incomplete passes. And that's where we sit right now, 26-15. It was 26-7 at the half. Nobody scored in the third. 4 touchdowns scoring in the second. That was the offensive explosion in the game. 1 by Union to start the quarter, and then 3 by Middlesex. Oh, now we have players jumping off and flags, as you could see.
Why don't you just go 2, Jay? Just go 2.
It's going to be called a false start on the Union offense. So that will bring them back again, shooting themselves in the foot.
Send them.
I think they're waiting to get into a 4th and long, Mike, so they can complete something. That seems to be their MO in this half.
Well, whatever works, I guess. 3rd down and 15. Here's a long throw from Cornegay. Incomplete.
I think he had his hands on that ball, too. That was well thrown.
Skullall there, and on the coverage was Brian Brown out of Colonia again, and he's played some good coverage on balls thrown to that left corner. Yeah, I think he did have a hand on that. Well, now it's 4th down, so this is what they were waiting for, right? 9:35 to go. 26-15, Middlesex on top. Well, I'll tell you what, you could joke around about the 4th down, but there's obviously a big play for Union, but this is a big play for Middlesex right here. Not to give up something big on 4th down and stay out on the field in defense much longer, right? Here's Cornegay looking, airs it out, right side. It is almost intercepted.
Well covered. Well played. Well played.
The receiver, Dan Malzak, had no chance at that ball. It was Darryl Harper who had the best shot, the South Brunswick cornerback, and he almost came up with it.
Darryl Harper really played that ball very well. He had a great position on the receiver, and never allowed him back inside to go after the football.
Actually, might have been a good thing that Harper didn't come up with that, because it looked like if he had caught it, he would have caught it outside the end zone, and his momentum carried him into the end zone. Would have been a safety.
Yes, no, it wouldn't have been. It would have been a touchback, but they would have got the ball in the 20.
Even if he brought it into the end zone?
Yeah, but his momentum would have carried it in, and that's what they would have counted.
Okay, all right.
But by knocking it down, they get the ball at the 40.
Yeah, that's true. So 1st and 10.
Now they go into their run game.
So the momentum is the deciding factor on that. If he had caught it 5 yards out, say, and still gone in and not being able to come out and gone down, there you go. 2nd down and 5 on a nice pickup by Middlesex. That's all you need to do is just, again, move that ball forward.
That's exactly what they want to do.
Pick up a couple of 1st downs here, and you don't leave Union time enough for what they need, which is a couple of scores. And not only that, but they also need a 2-point conversion here. They're going to need 2 touchdowns.
Right.
Because if they don't get the 2,
then they need another touchdown.
Yeah. They're only going to have 21. They'll be 5 short. But they wouldn't need the extra point on that 2nd touchdown. They would only need the 6 to go ahead. That kind of math I can do. Saucedo hands off. Not much doing. Good penetration that time by the Union defense.
Another big play for both teams right now. Middlesex trying to get the 1st down, and Union trying to stop them to get possession of the ball back. They can't continue to let Middlesex grind the ball out and get 1st downs, because it's going to eat up valuable time off the clock without allowing them to get back. They need 2 scores somehow.
And you know they're going to keep this thing on the ground. Marcus Borden is no fool. He knows what he's doing.
You hit it right on the head. They're in the wishbone right now, and they're going to look to pound it.
3rd down, approaching midfield. Middlesex, 7:50 to play. There's the handoff. And it looks like he got the 1st down. For the Middlesex County offense, that's Blakey out of South Brunswick again on the carry. And he did get the 1st down by a couple of yards, so move the chains, and you know that just means another 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes off the clock, the way the Middlesex offense will take its time.
I wouldn't be surprised if I saw East Brunswick stay in the wishbone and just continue to pound the ball the same way they started the game. Just push them up front, get a few yards at a time, eat up some clock, hold possession of the ball. A low-risk offense.
1st and 10 on the Union side of the ball.
Double tight end wishbone.
48. Hand off up the middle. That's all they're going to do. Just try and pound it through. 7 minutes now and less here in the 4th quarter.
And they're in no hurry. Middlesex are going to take their time getting in and out of the huddle. and hope to continue to grind it out, move the sticks, and shorten the game.
The strategy is clear. There's no secret to this right now.
It's just a matter of execution at this point, Mike.
Yep. And hold on to the football. No bad snaps, no bad exchanges. Saucedo out of Perth Amboy, the quarterback. The handoff goes left side and up to about the 40. Or down to the 40, I should say, and then pushed back is Blakey, but they'll give him forward progress. They didn't quite get to the 40. He got to about the 42 or 3. Be a third and about 5.
I think they're going to go for. I think they're going to run a similar type play. If they don't get the first down, then I'm sure they're going to punt and try to pin them. But they are going with their spread offense right now, so they're playing to move the sticks. They brought Salazar in, and they brought their wide receivers in as well. So they might come out of the shotgun and look to throw the ball.
If not, they'll probably keep it to the left side, try and keep it on one of the hash marks so they can kick it into the corner and get some distance on it as well.
There's the jet.
Out right side, that is Salazar, and he's now inside the 25 to the 20, and he's going to make it into the end zone.
And when jet sweep with Salazar, got to the outside, made a move in the open field, and does what he does best, get to the end zone.
43-yard touchdown run by Cody Salazar. 5:17 to go here in the fourth quarter. And Middlesex has successfully answered each Union score. They scored first. When Union scored in the second quarter, they scored 3 in a row. Union scored here in the fourth almost 9 minutes ago, and now Middlesex picks one up that really should ice it at this point. We got a flag thrown from the far side of the field before anybody could even really get down to the stance and line up. And what do we have here? Unsportsmanlike on Union.
I think they'll take that on the kickoff.
Yeah. Got a little chippy in the second quarter when the points were coming fast and furious. But since then, it's calmed down quite a bit. The two teams settled down a lot in the locker room, I guess. The extra point. Ball is up, and it's through. So 33-15 is the score with 5:17 to play. Cody Salazar, a 43-yard touchdown run. So Salazar with a touchdown catch and a touchdown run, a 23-yard catch and a 43-yard rush for a touchdown.
See if he brings some pressure from two opposite sides this time.
Would he maybe be in line for a possible MVP? There's a number of guys, I think, on the Middlesex side that you could choose.
He's certainly a strong candidate for that award.
Or he could name the whole Middlesex defensive line, too. Well, we also talked about Saucedo with 2 big touchdown passes. The second and third of the 3 touchdowns that Middlesex scored after Union tied it at 7. You could talk about those being key. You could talk about Salazar doing all kinds of things tonight on offense and returns. And you could even, as we mentioned earlier, talk about one of your players who was able to pick up a few recoveries tonight. Craig Switzer, 2 on kickoffs, 1 on a fumble with Union moving.
Yeah, there are a few candidates we can choose from tonight.
We'll find out who it's going to be. The kickoff with the penalty assessed on where Middlesex kicked it from. Sails right through the end zone. So
45-yard line. It's a 15-yard penalty, so they kicked it right into the end zone, and now Union has a bigger hill to climb.
That's just going to be on the 20-yard line for Union County. And we'll see who they bring out here at quarterback. Will it be Dijon Allen Jordan for what very well could be their final offensive series of this game, or Hakeem Cornegay, 5'8" out of Rahway? I'm thinking it might be Allen Jordan, and it's going to be.
All right, tell him to sit in the middle. Where's he going?
I think he wants someone who can see over that defensive line and get some long throws down the field. He's got a pretty good arm, as we've seen tonight. He is back and rolling out right under some pressure, looking to throw, but he's going to keep it now and take it out of bounds at the 27. Gain of 7 on the play. So he got positive yardage, even though he had no one to pass it to.
Yeah, they were in man coverage underneath with a 2-deep zone behind it, and that's why he was able to scramble out and get some extra yardage. But Middlesex is willing to give that up. They just don't want to give up the big play. That's why they're playing man under 2 deep.
Give him 9 yards, 2nd and 1.
We got 12 guys out there.
So let's see who it's going to be. You can hear in the background the Middlesex coaches yelling, "We have an extra player on the field," and they finally do get that extra man off. And now it's Allen Jordan on 2nd and 1, throwing down the middle of the field, incomplete. James O'Rourke out of Westfield, the intended receiver at the middle of the field. He has gone down to the field, and he's going to need some help getting off. I don't know if he looks like a leg. He didn't get hit, so that's not the wind getting knocked out of him, as we saw earlier in the game with a Middlesex player.
Why are we leaving nickel?
And they're going to bring a cart in case they need to get him off with a knee or a leg injury of some kind, but in obvious pain. His helmet's off, as you can see.
We hope it's not too serious. We don't want to see a kid who has potential to play in college or future in the game or in a sport get injured at this point in the game or in his career.
He's not writhing in pain. He's now getting up. Yeah, we were wondering. We've just been passed a note. MVP question mark. Well, we were talking about a few possible candidates. We were talking about defensively and on special teams, Craig Switzer with a couple of key recoveries on the opening kickoff that led to a Middlesex touchdown. They recovered another kick later. He did, and then he also recovered a fumble. So Switzer's got 3. I think the 2 touchdown passes by Saucedo were key to pad the lead a little bit. And Salazar's been all over the field. Out of Woodbridge, he's got a touchdown catch for 23 yards, a 43-yard touchdown run to really kind of salt this one away. So there's a couple of different ways you can go. I didn't help you out at all, did I? No, I didn't. I think I might have made it worse. They might have had just 2 people, and maybe I gave them a 3rd. Or maybe you had somebody else besides me. Well, maybe George Najjar can help, because obviously I was of no help on that one.
My choice is Cody Salazar. I think he's done so much in both ends, from the special teams game as well as different aspects as both a receiver, a runner, and he's just a threat anytime he's on the field.
3rd and 1, Union converts, so they'll move the chains here. All right, so George's vote is for Cody Salazar. I can't argue with, if you picked any of those 3 names, I couldn't argue with you. I think the fact that he's been all over the field and done a lot of different things for the Middlesex senior all-stars tonight.
He catches the ball out of the backfield. He runs jet sweep. He returns punts and kicks. He kicks the ball himself.
Long pass down the middle of the field, almost picked off once again, getting a hand on it. Darrell Harper, he's had a hand on a lot of passes tonight. That one down to the 35-yard line would have been a long 30-plus yard pass to Stefan Scullall out of Union. So it'll be a 2nd down and 10. It stops the clock with 4:24 left in the ball game. 33 to 15. Middlesex on top. Should nothing bizarre and once in a lifetime happen tonight, this will be win 6 out of the last 7 for Middlesex. To the middle of the field, complete at the 45, and a couple extra yards on the catch by Robert Jackson out of Plainfield.
Robert Jackson has a very nice game for the Union team. He's made a lot of nice catches. He's run with the ball after the catch, and he's gotten open in key spots.
What's strange about it is you don't see those teams in the playoffs, even though you're not terribly far geographically north versus south, but Sayreville in central Jersey, Group 4, and Plainfield, well, actually I think they're Group 3, aren't they?
Plainfield is a Group 3 school.
A loss of about 9 on that play for Union. Well, you wouldn't see them anyway. But next year it'll be interesting with that. Are they calling it Group 5?
Yes, they are. They're paring down groups to 15 teams per group in sections, and instead of the normal 19 or 20 teams. So they're creating another group, and those will be the bigger schools. And they haven't come up with the official classifications yet. The NJSIAA has yet to send out official classifications, but they did send out some tentative ones that they thought might work, but it hasn't been confirmed yet.
It'll be interesting to watch. If anything, that really, almost more than voting not to expand the playoffs and go to overall group champions, as Union completes another pass, this time to Dean Malzak out of Union. More than the vote not to expand the playoffs and play to overall group champions, that having 5 groups now kills it more than anything.
Absolutely.
Because you just can't play. You can't play it that way.
That was more surprising than anything else, how quickly this passed and how difficult it was to get the overall group championship passed. In fact, all the coaches are stunned by that move by the NJSIAA.
Now, are you in support of the overall group champions?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it would be a good idea, and you don't play, Sayreville doesn't, a Thanksgiving Day game, so you don't have that tradition to deal with. There are some schools that do, but to be honest, in the last several years, we're now into the final 2:24 here, and a 4th down coming up for Union County, and they'll go for it, and we've got a timeout taken. I believe this will be the last one by Union. I think there are a lot of Thanksgiving Day games now that are, I don't want to say meaningless, because there are no meaningless games, but, it was different when you had the rivalries like Highland Park, Metuchen playing on Thanksgiving. But, now when you have schools that aren't all that close or don't have natural rivalries playing on Thanksgiving just because that's the way it goes, I think as you do that, to me, it makes it more and more palatable to lose the Thanksgiving Day games.
That's a very good point. And in addition to that, Mike, you should also note that in some of the planning for the overall group champion, they were not going to eliminate Thanksgiving altogether.
Right.
So they would still be able to have the Thanksgiving Day games and yet still be able to get to an overall group champion. So we really had the best of both worlds in that case. But for some reason, other schools were against it, and the vote, although it was close, was lost.
And so it'll probably be a while before we get to that point again. 4th down play and a pass right over the middle for Union did nothing. And so Middlesex will get it back and can pretty much run the clock out here with 2:18 to go in this ball game. So, I mean, that really kind of defeats that whole idea for, you would figure, at least a couple of years. You would really have to get rid of that 5th group again if you're going to go and have that vote.
You're absolutely right, and I don't know what would happen or what's going to happen in that case, because right now you're pulling from 2 different ends, and I'm not sure where it's going to go. And I don't think anybody wins in that situation.
Nonetheless, we'll have 4 additional championship games to possibly contend with. These are going to be some super sections, though. I mean, we've talked about how, Central Group 4 is tough, but I think North to Group 4, as you look at Marcus Board and his Snappable offensive unit, trying to figure out just how they're going to run this clock down. I think, you look at some of those sections, some of them are going to be really tough. with those big schools up. I mean, it's going to be all the biggest schools now.
Yes, and in fact, it could be competitive in all areas now because the 5s, now they have the 4s, so you're going to have some group of 4s that were 4 are going to stay there. Some are going to move up. Some of the 3s might have to go to 4 if they're the bigger 3s. And then some of the 2s might have to go to 3, so there's going to be a combination of different schools moving around. Again, you're losing almost 4 or 5 teams per group in each group. So who that is going to be and how it's going to work out.
The other thing I'm not a big fan of is, and I don't know how the coaches feel about this of those teams, but the sub 500 teams that are now allowed to get into the playoffs to fill out a bracket of 8. You're going to have more of those teams now because you're going to have a whole nother section.
Yes.
Well, you're not definitely, but you are opening it up to having that. And I think if you're a good enough team, as there's a Gatorade bath there you see at the bottom of your screen, I think if you're a good enough team, I think you've earned the right not to have to play a team that's not a playoff caliber.
I agree. I never agreed with the allowing teams that are sub 500 to play. I understand they want to even off the brackets and they want to make things easier for scheduling, but I think you have to earn that right to get to the playoffs.
19 seconds with the knees taken by Middlesex, and one more will do it. There they go. And it's a handoff and actually a run. No knee that time. Middlesex is going to run in for a score with time on the clock, technically, I think, but they're going to let it run out. And that, a touchdown for Middlesex, and that's Chris Caney, and that one counts. The young man from East Brunswick, who the play is run for at the beginning of every game, this time he scores one that counts. And as time runs out, and that will end the game. That should make the final score 39, but there's nobody up here to put the score on.
I don't think they're going to officially count it because the Union team did not try to defend. So I think they'll give Chris his chance to run and get some recognition, but I don't think they're counting it on the scoreboard.
All right, so we'll call it 33-15. If it changes, we'll let you know, but it looks like it's going to stay at that as the final score here in Snapple Bowl 19 as Middlesex gets back on the winning side. They've won 6 of the last 7 and lead the overall series 11-8. And we'll come back and wrap it up after this.
Congratulations to Cody.
Joe Rapoli of Snapple presenting the MVP award of Snapple Bowl 19 to Cody Zalazar of Woodbridge. The young man was all over the field. George, you and I talked about it tonight. He had 2 touchdowns, a 43-yard touchdown run, and a 23-yard touchdown catch from Faustino Saucedo. The second of those 3 in a row they scored after Union tied it at 7. Well deserved.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with the decision more, and I think he had a great game, but there were some other kids who really were certainly in the running, and I think overall Middlesex did a very nice job on both sides of the football. They made less mistakes than Union did, and it seems like they were a little more cohesive both offensively and defensively.
The official word is that touchdown will count, the one scored by Chris Cania, who we saw at the start of the ball game. He has a developmental disability, and East Brunswick will run the first play in the game for him, and the opposing team will let him score a touchdown. But here he gets it on the last play of the game where Middlesex was taking 3 knees to run out the clock, and instead of taking a 4th, they handed off him the ball, and he was able to score. And there was a question as to whether or not it was going to count. Did Union really defend on the play? But they went down, talked to the officials, and the officials said, yes, it's a touchdown. And I think technically, because I was watching to see if he was going to score as time ran out, to see if they were going to try an extra point, I think he crossed the goal line with about a second and a half left in the game. But the clock operator and scoreboard operator had left the press box at that time. So shades of Rutgers down at Tennessee a couple of years ago in women's basketball, but it was not quite that close a game. Middlesex George, really dominated this football game. When you look back at it, tough to say that as you were in the midst of it because you felt like Union was maybe getting back into it. It was a lot of back and forth in that first quarter with not much scoring after that first touchdown that opened the game for Middlesex. But really, in hindsight, this game was not in too much doubt for Middlesex from start to finish.
I wholeheartedly agree. They were really never in trouble. The closest they got when it was 7-7, but then again, as you said, they answered right back with a couple of touchdowns, and they put the game out of reach, and they were never threatened at that point. And the only other time was when it was 26-15, and Union had an opportunity and couldn't take advantage of it, and then Middlesex pretty much controlled it.
It was Isaiah Johnson with the first Middlesex touchdown, made it 7-0 after a kickoff that Middlesex was able to recover. Two of them recovered, in fact, by Craig Switzer. That first one led to a score by Isaiah Johnson. Union tied it up at the start of the second quarter, 7-7 on a 26-yard touchdown pass from Hakeem Cornegie to Robert Jackson, making the extra point. Then Middlesex scored the next three. A 45-yard run by Azim Blakey, a 23-yard pass from Fonzie to Cody Salazar, missing the extra point, made it 20-7, and then a 15-yard pass from Saucedo to Hayden Warren of East Brunswick with a 2-point conversion failing, made it 26-7. Union scored at the start of the fourth quarter after a scoreless third, a 54-yard touchdown pass from Cornegie to Plainfield's Robert Jackson, but Middlesex with the next two, a 43-yard run by Salazar and the 62-yard run by Kenya at the end, which made it the final 39-15. That touchdown does count. Cody Salazar of Woodbridge, your Snapple Bowl 19 MVP. Great job, George Najar. I guess your first broadcast
of
any kind?
I have to tell you, Mike, I really enjoyed it. It was a pleasure to be up here with you, and I really enjoyed the game as well as broadcasting by your side.
I would ask you back for CTC sometime, but you guys go deep into the playoffs enough that I don't think you'll have the time.
We hope we go deep into the playoffs, so I don't have the time.
I hope we never have you on again in that regard on
Thank
CTC.
You.
Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun working with you. Thanks to all the crew from EBTV. A great job and a lot of fun to work with them producing this game wherever you're watching it. So the final score, one last time, 39-15. Middlesex County takes an 11-8 lead in the series, winning Snapple Bowl 19 here at J. Doyle Field in East Brunswick. For George Najar, I'm Mike Pavlich, going for the whole EBTV crew. Have a good night, everyone.